Celebrating the legacy, living the dream. Essays, poetry, and music all tomorrow night. What's it all about? We'll tell you. Coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're at the Fox 43 studio in Myrtle Beach. We're focused on a tribute to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day tomorrow at Francis Marion University in conjunction with the Florence Chamber of Commerce. And we're visiting with Precious Christwell, the Director or Coordinator of Multicultural Affairs at Francis Marion. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
I know it's early to get up in the morning in Florence to get down here for a 7 a.m. interview, but thanks for making that effort.
Thank you for having us.
Tomorrow's a big day.
Yes, it is.
You all have a lot planned at the university. Of course, the essay contest is so thrilling.
Yes.
To think about a lot of the entries you got right before the December 31st.
Exactly. So.
How has been the count? Did a heck of a lot of folks submit?
Yeah, we actually had a wonderful response to the essay contest. A lot of people turned in essays and poems and different types of tributes to Dr. King and his legacy.
It's a big day, and of course, the two top essays will be announced tomorrow.
Correct.
And I think now, do the essayists know already who they are? If they're going to be reading, or are you just going to have every?
Yes, the essayists will know to come to tomorrow's event and present their essays.
Okay, so they'll have an idea before tomorrow that they've won.
Exactly.
It's tough to keep those things on wraps because you want to make sure the people are there to actually read their essays. Yeah,
exactly.
That's cool. And of course, you all have a famous poet in. Is it Jairus Redmond?
Glennis Redmond.
Glennis Redmond.
Yeah,
forgive me.
Yeah, not a problem.
Coming in from Asheville, I think.
Yes. Very renowned poet and storyteller, has performed all over the country, and she's actually, come to my home state of Florida before. So
really,
yeah.
How did you come up? Is that how you found out about her?
Yeah, actually, Jerry Madison, who is over the small and minority division of the chamber, found her information and brought it to us, the committee, and we decided that she would be a wonderful speaker for this year's event.
Great, good. And the events tomorrow, of course, I think we were talking earlier before the interview started, the observance of Martin Luther King Jr. Day is next Monday. It's Monday the 17th, but the event that Francis Marion does in collaboration with the Florence Area Chamber of Commerce is tomorrow.
Correct. Tomorrow.
This is a full-day event tomorrow, or do you all have certain hours blocked off?
For the most part, it's an evening event. We'll start at 5 o'clock with a private reception with Ms. Redmond at Dr. Carter's home, and that's for our special VIP guests, our sponsors, our essay winners, those platform speakers, and as well as community leaders and committee members. Then at 6 o'clock, we'll start the actual event at the McNair Auditorium on Francis Marion's campus.
Great.
And then after that, we will have a reception at our University Center Commons.
Great. So this is a full day right at the end of work. Some of those VIPs and the essayists will be heading over to Dr. Carter's house, and his home is right there on campus.
Correct. Beautiful home.
Very easy. Yeah. He was kind enough to have us in there, and one of a class where I guess a little boardroom where he teaches a small class. Right. We were filming there, golly, about a year and a half ago, and then about a year ago over in your student center for the Heart Walk, which I think had a tie-in there. And then a few months after that, upstairs in that same building in the student center in one of the classrooms where Dr. Carter was kind enough, along with Tom Marshall, to be with us. So a lot of things happening there on the Francis Marion campus.
Yes. We're always a very active campus, a lot of events going on to help better our students as well as the community.
Precious, real quick about yourself. Are you originally from the area?
No, I'm originally from Pompano Beach, Florida, which is right above Miami.
Oh, yeah. Pompano Beach, Florida. You get back there often? You still have family there?
Yes, still have family there. Try and get back there as much as possible.
Have you gotten your family up to the PD?
Actually, yeah. My mom was here last week visiting right after the New Year's.
Really? That's cool. That's cool to get her up. And, of course, to think about traveling up and down the East Coast, I think I saw you spent some time in Tennessee as well.
You're correct. I used to work at the University of Tennessee, Chattanooga, as well as in Orlando. I received my bachelor's and master's degree from the University of Central Florida and spent some time working there, as well as Seminole Community College.
Okay. In Seminole Community College in Florida as well?
Correct. It's It's in Lake Mary, Florida, right up the street from Orlando.
Real quick, if a viewer needs to run off to work, it's about 7:10. If they need to get out, what's the best number for someone to call to find out about the event at 6 o'clock and even the reception afterwards, if they're not invited to the private thing at 5? What's the best number to call?
The best number to call would be the Florence Chamber, which is 843-665-0515,
Okay.
or you can call my office at 843-661-1188.
Okay, 843-661-1188. And would they want to ask for Precious? They
Yes.
want to ask for you?
They ask for
yeah.
Precious.
Yeah, the Office of Multicultural Affairs has obviously got a lot going on, representing a very diverse group, body of students there at Francis Marion, but you all are clearly stepping out in the community quite a bit.
Yes, that's a part of my position, to not only be a liaison for students on campus, but also to work with the campus community to help bring in people and help students identify with the university and the community.
Great. Wow. How's that been? Is the Office of Multicultural Affairs been around for a good while? Do you know when it
Yes.
kicked off?
The Office of Multicultural Affairs was actually developed in the 80s.
Really?
So it's been around for a little over 20 years.
Wow. That's fascinating. You know, probably a lot of slow takers to open up. I mean, you know, to get really active in making sure all cultures are represented on the campus and making sure that that's great. Francis Marion really stepped in early.
Yes, they did. They did a good job as far as getting that office set up during a growth period in the university, and we're continuing to grow, but just the timing was just right so that when the campus started becoming more diverse, they made sure that there were persons there to help the students acclimate to the university.
And that's so important, wherever they're coming in from, to have somebody who's been there, really knows the ropes. And of course, your experience having been both at University of Tennessee at Chattanooga, as well as having attended school in Florida, probably helps open the door and make them feel a lot more comfortable.
Right.
And the partnership with the Florence Chamber of Commerce has been, Francis Marion and Florence Chamber have been hand in hand for quite a few things.
Right. We work with building bridges and just a lot of other events that they have out on the campus, as well as we have a lot of personnel that work on the campus that attend events at the chamber or work on different chamber boards. So we definitely have a very close partnership with them.
Let's break down some of the requirements for the folks who are supplying essays. The December 31st was the cutoff. Again, obviously today, the day before the reading of the essays, they now know who the winners are. But share with the viewers a little bit about the requirements of the essays. What was encouraged of them to look at, or if there was themes that they needed to get into before we talk about Dr. Redmond.
The essay contest was a tribute to Dr. Martin Luther King, his life and legacy. Each contestant was to write a 750-word to 1,500-word essay or poem for the actual contest, and to submit a bio sheet along with it so we would know how to contact the person, and also judge the essay on the content of the person, whether it was an adult or a child, you know, someone who was in school, not in school. So.
And who was judging the essays?
The actual Martin Luther King Committee judged the actual essays, but the winner will be chosen at the event tonight, and we have a panel of judges that will listen to each essay contestant present their essay, and they'll make the final decision on who actually wins. Okay,
so the committee will be there tomorrow night for the event, and obviously be hearing the two finalists. So you all decided on the finalists beforehand.
Correct.
The two finalists will read them, and then tomorrow night that the big announcement will be made.
Yes.
How exciting for the essayists, and to know that it was just a couple of weeks ago they had to get them turned in. Probably a lot of them got. When did you all kick off this idea, and how did it come about?
We decided to do the essay contest in October. We start planning the event usually around the end of the summer, once I get back in school and, you know, Francis Marion kind of calms down. And the idea of having an essay contest came up as doing a tribute to Dr. King. So we started doing advertisement around mid-late October to get persons in.
So this is a big event every year, obviously.
Yes, it is.
And that VIP reception should be a lot of fun tomorrow
It
night.
will definitely
Should
be a lot
of fun tomorrow night. How many students are active in within the Office of Multicultural Affairs? Could you pinpoint, or I mean, surely not with the office itself,
Right.
but how many folks do you all serve?
Well, currently, I think it's somewhere around 1,500 because Francis Marion has a 30% minority population, so which is very high for a state institution, not only of its size but in the area. Most schools, their minority population will run closer to 20%. So that's one thing about Francis Marion. It does have a very diverse population compared to other state institutions.
Predominantly black institutions. I mean, there's
Correct.
quite a few
Correct.
within the state. I mean, there's a heck of a lot of them. We've had some fascinating guests and did some tapings, and I can't remember the doctor's name who's been the president of a university at Morris College for a long time, who's been with us. He was with us at the Florence Little Theater. I can't remember his name. It's slipping me right now. He's a Hartsville native. He filmed with us up at Coker College right after getting an honorary degree up there. Very interesting guy, and I'm sure somebody here in the room would know. I just can't remember his name, but it's been fascinating to see the impact of folks, I'm sure, within the Multicultural Affairs Office as you reach out to the students and to get them involved and let them know of so many community activities.
Right. It's definitely been rewarding. And then at the same time, our students develop their own activities on campus also, which is a part of what our department and division we do.
Share with and it's Luns Richardson I was thinking about, but share with us about Miss Redmond and how obviously you learned about her a long time ago. Has she been writing for a long time, and what are some of her specialties?
Her main specialty, like I said before, was the poetry and the storytelling. I heard, and I didn't actually remember until later on, that I actually had the chance. She appeared at Valencia Community College, which is also in Orlando. Right. And then she does a lot of dramatic poetries and readings, usually centered around like cultural or, heart's cry feelings. So she's just done a really good job with that.
And the whole committee came together. You said Jerry had learned about her originally or brought her to the table.
Right. Yeah, Jerry Madison, wonderful person. She does a lot for the Florence Chamber. She brought the information in, and we reviewed it and listened to some of her works and made a decision from there.
And she'll be doing what tomorrow night? She'll be helping. Now, Miss Redmond will be. You said she's going to be reading as well. Forgive me.
Yes. Miss Redmond will perform. She'll have a 45-minute performance. We're going to split it into two different sections, and she'll perform her works tomorrow night, mainly centering around Dr. King, the legacy, diversity, bringing the world together, peace.
Speaking about bringing the world together, do you all do things when you talk about stepping out into the community? Obviously, the Francis Marion itself, but the Office of Multicultural Affairs, for some of the things, do you try to get folks who may not be familiar with other cultures within the PD area to come onto campus to learn more? Are there some reach out activities?
Yeah, we have we sponsor different events, especially during open times like open house,
right,
homecoming, orientation, welcome week, and then we have events that we do with the students that are more in-house to help the students learn about different cultures. And then also you have the big PD International Fair that's at Francis Marion every fall, so that's always helpful to bring people out. And then in the spring we have Arts Alive, so we do a lot within the Francis Marion community to bring people onto the campus to learn about different cultures.
What are some of the major things you recognize talking to folks afterwards, after you all put on events, some of the things that people may not have known about, either about the Office of Multicultural Affairs or just about some of the other cultures within their community?
Usually there's a new awareness of different cultures that are here in the PD region, and also just the history behind them, looking at, especially when you talk about things like Black History Month or Hispanic Heritage Month, looking at the contributions that the persons have made to America. A lot of times people don't really have an ideal that those persons and those cultures have given so much to America, making it, the mixing bowl that it is today.
Asian American and Native American are a big part of your Office of Multicultural Affairs, I'm sure, as well.
Yes, especially being so close to the North Carolina border with Columbia.
Robinson County, absolutely. Has there been a good infusion of folks from from southeastern North Carolina to Francis Marion that have helped? I mean, in that multicultural aspect, have there been quite a few folks from Robinson County attending Francis Marion?
We have students that do come down. A lot of them usually attend UNC Pembroke because it's right there in North Carolina.
Right.
Keep it in state, keep your fees lower. But we also have, like I said, with the International Fair and Arts Alive, we have a lot of people come down and participate in those events to help broaden the horizons about the American Indian culture, Native Americans.
Great, that's good. Some of those aspects, it's fascinating when you get folks onto campus, particularly older folks in the community, give them an opportunity to interact with students, but B, particularly to interact with the Office of Multicultural Affairs. I'm sure there's quite a bit that they glean from those experiences.
Most definitely. There's very few places where you can go today and you're only going to experience one culture. So being multicultural is just, honestly, it's a survival skill, because from what we consider, the lowest jobs to the highest jobs, you have different cultures mixing in there, and it's really important to know the difference between the cultures and how to deal with the persons.
It's fascinating when you think about it on the college campus. There's so many different groups, and I think I saw the Office of Multicultural Affairs, or you as the coordinator, gives you a direct relationship to the Panhellenic Council. Is that correct?
The National Panhellenic Council. The National Panhellenic Council is a group of 9 historically Black fraternities and sororities that were started around 1906 through 1963. And those groups have. We have 6 of the groups here on our campus currently, and they just do a wonderful job as far as being a service to the community, the campus community, as well as the Florence community during different events. But they're most noted for stepping, which is a form of an African boot dance.
Oh, I don't think I'm familiar with that. Excuse me. This is the fraternities or the sororities, or both? Both. Is that right?
Both.
And 6 of the 9 you said are present on the Francis Marion campus?
That's correct.
Golly, well, that's fascinating. Well, not that I would put you on the spot as to what those six are. I'm sure you're aware of them just quickly off the top of your head. What are those 6 that viewers may be familiar with? That would be like...
we have Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated, and Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated.
Yeah, and the last 2 I don't think I've heard of. The first 4 are pretty big on all campuses, on many campuses. I've heard of the first 4 there. That's fascinating. The stepping, is that something that's commonly... This is a fraternity or sorority related, or is that out in the open? Or is that publicly performed?
Yes, it's out in the open. They have competitions, and it's a growing trend. It's like the Broadway play Stomp. A lot of their moves come from stepping. So you have the groups do step competitions, like at Homecoming on Friday, the February 11th at 8 p.m. at the McNair Auditorium. We'll have our Homecoming Step Show.
Great.
And those groups will compete to see who is the best step team on the campus.
Wow. Now, is that something that folks in the community would come in for? I'm sure.
Yes. Yes, we have a lot of folks in the community that come in for the step show.
That's fascinating. Now, and if a viewer was not familiar with that or wanted to learn about that, is that something they could call your office about?
Yes, definitely. Call 843-661-1188, and you can find out more about the different groups that we have on campus, and not just the National Panhellenic groups, but we have 2 other governing bodies on campus, the North American Interfraternity Council, as well as the National Panhellenic Conference. So we have a lot of Greek-lettered organizations on campus that are social and non-social. We have some academic groups, and we have community service groups. So just definitely give us a call, because a lot of times people only associate Greek letters with social groups.
Sure.
But we have different groups that have Greek letters also.
Now, the 6 you were talking about that are on campus, the first 6 you were talking about, are those social and
Yes,
those are all social?
Those are
fraternities or
part of
sororities?
our social groups.
Right, right. But some of the service groups like Alpha Phi Omega or otherwise are probably
Correct.
well
Right.
represented on campus.
Correct. Well, we don't have a chapter of Alpha Phi Omega, but we do have their sister sorority, Gamma Sigma Sigma.
Okay, good. Well, that's fascinating. I'm sure a lot of viewers would be interested. The 843-661-1188.
Right.
And, of course, for the chamber number, the 843-665-0515.
Correct.
Jerry Madison may not know about all those, the sororities and fraternities. She may, or any of the folks there at the chamber, but surely the opportunity, this poet speaking from Heart Space, we got about 5 minutes.
Okay.
Precious, and I know, and thank you again for coming in. I know it's an early morning for you, but, you know, with a day like tomorrow,
Right.
and particularly late in the day. And then how about anything you all are doing for the observance of Martin Luther King Jr. Day on the 17th? Are there things going on campus, whether it's through your office or are you all closed that day?
We're closed that day. So actually the university is closed in observance of the day.
Right.
So our students usually go home and participate in different events within their cities, because
Right.
a lot of cities have their events on that actual day as it is observed nationally.
Is this something you thought about while you were in college, of getting active in an office of multicultural affairs? Is this something that while you were a student yourself, Precious, that you got interested in, or did it just fall into your lap?
Actually, I used to work for the vice president of campus life and different other departments at the University of Central Florida. And so they mentored me, and I started off as an engineering major, but they guided me towards student affairs because of my involvement in the university as an undergrad.
They're in Central Florida.
Correct.
How interesting.
Yeah.
So, yeah, student affairs, I mean, you know, just that aspect of being involved with students on a regular basis and probably keeps you young.
Yes, definitely keeps you young. You have to, run. There are days when I have early mornings and late nights, but it's for the greater good of the students. There's one thing about student affairs: you have an academic side of life that all campuses have, but your student affairs side, they help the students develop their social skills and take those wonderful skills that they get from the academic part of the university and apply them into social situations and learn how to network and go out and meet people. And like I said, especially with multicultural affairs, learning how to meet people in different cultures and understand, if you meet someone, that even if they're Asian, there's still differences between, someone who is Japanese or Chinese, and knowing how to approach them and what is offensive to them and what's not offensive to them.
Yeah, that must be a very important, I mean, to be able to break that down for folks to have a better understanding of what's potentially offensive or not offensive.
Correct.
That's great. That would probably come into effect for all the number of different groups that are served by the Office of Multicultural Affairs. We've just got a couple of minutes, Brett. You think about tomorrow night, the components of tomorrow night that are open to the public, where folks can come in and visit. Of course, they can call the Florence Chamber tomorrow, the 665-0515 number, to learn a little more if they miss it now. But is it 6 o'clock only that's open to the public, and the reception afterwards?
Correct.
Okay.
That is correct. 6 o'clock in the McNair Auditorium at Francis Marion University, and immediately following we will have a reception in our Smith University Center Commons.
Okay, great. For a viewer here on the Strand in Horry or Georgetown County or in Marion County who's coming over to Francis Marion and hadn't been there in a long time, can you just give basic directions? Obviously, most of the folks in the PD would know, but getting over to McNair Auditorium for that at 6 o'clock, and what time would you want them there, and is there admission required?
There's no admission.
Okay.
The event is free. And, if there are companies or groups out there that would like to sponsor the event, they can also call the Chamber, because this is a free and popular community event. If you're coming to Florence from the Myrtle Beach, Horry, Marion area, you want to take Highway 76 into Florence, and at Francis Marion Boulevard, you would make a left,
Right.
go down to the third gate, make a left in there, and the parking lot immediately to your right is the McNair Auditorium parking lot. You would park there and then just walk across the street, and the auditorium is actually facing you. You can go in on either side, your left or your right.
So the auditorium is not the students, it's close to the student center.
Correct. And there'll be students and personnel out there that'll guide you over to the Smith University Center, but it is directly behind the there's like a big yard that kind of separates the two, so that's where the University Center is at, not too far, very short walking distance.
Great. What are you looking forward to most for tomorrow night, Precious? Is it Miss Redmond's readings, or is it the students or other essay contestants?
I'm looking forward to all of it. I'm particularly proud. One of the groups that fall underneath my offices are Young, Gifted, and Blessed Chorus, and they opened for Fred Hammond in Myrtle Beach in October, and they're performing. So, you know, watching them grow and develop their talents, and, you know, having so much talent there on one stage. Our essay winners, as well as Miss Redmond, you know, our community leaders that are coming out to support this event. I mean, it's just going to be a really wonderful night of people coming together in celebration of such a wonderful person, as well as a dream that we're all trying to keep alive of equality for everyone.
Those are great words. Thanks so much for being with us this morning, Precious.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Stay tuned to more Carolina People with Precious Christwell coming up next. The event begins at 6, but you need to get out there early. Think about it. Make that trip over there. Get there. It's McNair Auditorium, 6 o'clock. We've got singing, essay reading, poetry reading, 45 minutes of poetry. The focus is on a man, but it's truly focused on his dream. Celebrating the legacy, living the dream is what it's all about. You can call 843-665-0515, the Florence Area Chamber of Commerce, to learn any of the particulars, but it's open to the public. It's free. It's free. How often do you hear that, particularly for poetry, essay reading, and one of those two essays to be announced as the winner tomorrow night. You can hear both the essays read, as well as some amazing music. You heard Precious talk about it. It's that theme of bringing people together, bringing people together. That was Dr. King's message, and the celebration will be evident tomorrow night. Get out there, Francis Marion University.